Hello, and welcome to Factory Town. This is a game I have been playing and watching since its original posting, I think on itch.io, probably about 2 years ago. It's been a little bit of time in alpha on itch.io, and then it came to Steam Early Access for some beta experience. It's developed by an individual developer named Erik Asmussen, under the brand or whatever you want to call it as of 82 Apps. I can't remember how many hours in pre-Steam, and then probably about 8 hours in immediately after it came to Steam, but I haven't played this game in about a year and a half now. So I thought it was a good idea, and some of my supporters in my Discord agreed that this would be a good idea to play for you on YouTube, and to explore what's changed in the game, what's new in the game, and really what the game is all about, because many of you probably have not seen this game yet. So some of the things that are new since I last played are things like trains. I don't think trains were in at all when I last played. And they've added some additional logistics options. They've upgraded the graphics quite a bit, and they've done a lot of other changes. There's a modding ability to the game in the Steam Workshop, which is interesting. We may look at that at some point later on. But what I want to do to start with is just to look at the newish, it's only been out for a month or so, the new tutorial. In the tutorial / campaign, I should say. The tutorial campaign serves as obviously a tutorial and kind of orients you to how the game functions, the different aspects of the game. And you can start to get a peek at how complex the game really is, even though there are only 3 of the campaign scenarios available so far, of the 8 that are apparently planned. And then we'll probably move on to a a custom game, where we can just kind of play open world and advance our production lines in that. And that's a big hint for this game, because while the game looks simple, it has very almost cartoony graphics, I guess, maybe, and it looks like it might just be a kind of a simple game on its surface. It is a very complex and involved production line game, on par with games like Satisfactory and Factorio, which I know many of you have enjoyed watching here on my channel. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and start that first campaign level now, and we'll get started on that, and we'll see how long it takes to get through the campaign in the next episode or a few, and then we'll move on to a custom game afterward for this series. A few settlers have founded a small village in the wilderness. Help it grow into a larger town by gathering resources, crafting useful goods, and building houses. Alright, so some of the early resources we want to gather are trees to get logs, and stone to get, stone. So to build and expand your town, you will need to collect lots of resources. First, start by gathering wood. Left-click to select a worker, then right-click a tree to target it for harvesting. Then right-click on your base to assign as a drop-off location. The worker will chop wood from the tree, bringing it back to the base, and then repeating. And we need to collect 15 wood. So I'm going to do 2 workers on this job, and that way we have twice as fast for this. And we need to use right-click to rotate the camera and space to pause, unpause. There's kind of some different features here. Also, we have a control guide here. Left-click to select, so I left-click to select the worker, and then I right-clicked to issue the command. You can also delete workers. The kind of fun thing about this game is and this kind of goes into that, cute graphics, complex background kind of thing here. I'm going to pause for a moment. The people here kind of remind me of the little people from when I was a kid in the 80s, before they became not so little people. They really kind of look like them. They don't have any legs or anything. And if you were a kid in the 70s, the 80s, or I think even a little before, you'll remember, I'm sure, the little people when they were these narrow cylinders before they were decided to be a choking hazard. So, but they kind of remind me of that. And again, that kind of plays toward the sort of cute graphics of the game. But again, it hides what is a complex logistics and production line game behind the scenes. So we have collected the 15 wood we needed. Our total stocks are here. This is our total stocks of the entire town. And then if we click on a building like this, and the tutorial may take us into this, I don't know right now, but it lists out the individual resources that are in that particular building or being carried by that particular worker. Things like that. So let's left click to deselect that. And I'm going to unpause and I'm going to click the check. Houses increase your population limit, allowing you to create more workers and buildings. Open the build menu, B, that's the B key on the keyboard, or this build menu here. Select buildings, which is, you can see it barely, it's a little green, the D there, the W there, the A there, etc. That's also the hotkey, so we can use D if we want, or click the buildings menu. And then selecting the house, and the house I think is H. No, it's not H. I'm not sure if there is a hotkey for house, but you can obviously just click on it. And then left click to place the buildings. I'm going to place it here across from this house. And notice there's an arrow. The arrow is used for automated stuff. And it's kind of like the priority input location, the priority and the default output, I believe, when we start getting into the automated stuff. But it doesn't necessarily have to point at the road, but it's probably a good idea that we are planned ahead a little bit. All right. And then the houses increase your population limit. So now we have 12 capacity for workers. Now you can build more workers to harvest and deliver goods from one building to another. Open the build menu, select workers, worker, and place 2 new workers. So we can do that. Build, workers, worker. It's also down here in our toolbar, which I think is customizable. I think you can drag and drop or something these things here. I don't remember. Maybe I can't do that one because it's not an option yet. But there is this toolbar down here, which I'm assuming we'll get into at some point. And we can place 2 new workers here near the house. I guess we need to put them. Okay. Coins are necessary to grow and run your town. Earn them by supplying houses with goods. Left click to select a worker. Right click on grain, fruit, or vegetables. So we have some grain here. We have some apples here and apple trees. And then right click. And then right click onto the house to target delivery there. We can also do like a right click drag like this, if you want to save the clicks and do the drag instead. And now they're carrying little balls of grain to these houses so we can earn some gold coins or yellow coins. Yeah, yellow coins. And so the house is now storing up an inventory of grain. And I think it'll store up like 4 or 6 or something like that. And these workers will actually provide it to all the houses. Even though I only selected 1, they will provide it to all the houses in the area. And they kind of just do kind of like a rotational thing, whichever one needs. So next, just open the build menu and then select paths, which we can click on or click A, and then the footpath. And we can click or drag to place footpaths along the workers' routes. So we can do like this and expand that a little bit here. And maybe we also want to put in a road going this way, which we could do like that. Maybe I'll even round that out, make it nice and clean. And that way they'll follow the paths because they have accelerated movement speed along the paths. Workers move much faster on the paths, as opposed to hopping along the grass or through the roughage or whatever out there. Lumber mills turn wood into planks, which you will need for many buildings and upgrades. Gather 5 stone. So let's gather 5 stone. And we can do the right-click drag here as well. Actually, what I should have done was not that, but I've right-clicked, by the way, on a path or on the ground just to send the worker that way. I'm going to send the worker along the path because the worker should follow that path or not. It must not be the shortest route in the worker's mind. But we could do another path this way. And then we could do a path out here. Oh, now it is the shorter path. Whatever. Worker. So I'm going to collect 5 stone. And then open the build menu. Build, buildings, lumber mill. And place this, I think, maybe over here near... lumber mills turn wood into planks. Place the building. Production buildings require spare population capacity. If you already have reached the population limit, build more houses or delete existing workers. So I'm going to place this out here near the forest. I'm not sure what the box around it is just yet. Maybe we'll learn what that is. Maybe it's for automation or something. All right, so we can click this. Assign the planks recipe. So we'll click on the big question mark recipe here. If it's later in the game and you want to change the recipe, you can just click on the building. But this gives us a pop-up here where we can change the recipe. You can also click the button here to change the recipe. So we're going to select the planks recipe. And then we need to bring enough wood to the lumber mill to craft a plank. So I'm going to take one of the workers off of hauling to the base here and have him haul to the lumber mill instead. And that will craft a plank, but we need to assign a worker here. Oh, it automatically assigned 1. Okay, good. We still have 8 out of 12 workers, and one of those 8 is working. It's like an invisible person working here. So we brought the 2 wood to the lumber mill to create the plank. You can see that requires 2 wood here to create 1 plank, and it's continually crafting. It takes 3 seconds to produce the plank, by the way. So ideally, you want to get 2 wood from the forest to the lumber mill in 3 seconds, so the lumber mill can run at full capacity. And that's what some of the automation will help us with later on in the game. So bring the plank from the lumber mill to the base and add it to your inventory. So now we'll take the plank. So if you left-click on a worker, which we did, we hover over the lumber mill, right-click on the plank icon, which is here in the outputs. You have inputs, which is a green arrow going into the box, into the building. And we have outputs, which is the red arrow coming out of building. And we want to right-click on the plank, and then we can do the drag method again to the base. Or you can right-click, whichever you're more comfortable with. Both work just fine. And now we're collecting planks in the base. So our base now contains wood, stone, and some planks. And we're going to continue. Houses can be upgraded to further increase the population limit. Select a house, and then hit the upgrade button, which is down here. We don't have 5 planks just yet, so we'll wait for a moment until we have there it is. We have the 5th plank now, so we can upgrade the house. It's also telling us we can upgrade the base, which the tutorial wants us to upgrade the house first, so we'll do that. Upgrade actions consume items from the player's shared inventory, which are anything up here as opposed to things that are here in the building or in the base specifically. So we're going to upgrade the house. That costs us coins as well. Let's go to another house. It costs us 20 coins, 20 yellow coins, which is why we're delivering all this grain to these houses, and those 5 planks. And now the base can be upgraded to increase the housing limit. So right now we're stuck at 4 out of 4 houses. We can upgrade the base, which takes planks and stone, as well as 20 more yellow coins. And that increases our maximum amount of houses up to 8, by 4 up to 8. And it gives us a new building, a few new buildings, including grain mill, food market, and a school. Okay. Markets will sell items automatically to nearby houses, making it much easier to earn coins. So open the build menu, select buildings, and the food market, which we don't have enough planks yet. What I think I want to do is take this extra worker here and have them murder some more trees for me here. Let me go over here where I can see a little bit easier. And bring some more logs. There we go. Yeah, wood. That way we have 2 workers providing the wood and then 1 carrying the plank to the base. Oh, you couldn't deliver to the one you wanted to, so you delivered to another one instead? Or were you waiting for the other guy to get out of the way? That might have been it. Okay, so we need to build a market, and we still need the planks. We have 8 now, which that should accelerate a little bit. And that's kind of getting into what I was talking about with this being a production line game, because we needed 2 resources in order to produce 1. So right away you think, oh, I need 2 workers to supply enough for 1 worker to work. And while the technicalities of it might be a little bit more specific, that's at least a good generic at this point of the game while you're still doing everything manually to make sure that it works. So the market here has a fairly large circle of influence. You can see it out here. And I'm not entirely sure what the yellow glowy area is again on the inside. But it also tells you how many houses it's linked to there in the in that tooltip, or that piece that pops up down here. Right there. So maybe I'll build this out here, because it's kind of close also to the apple trees, which would be good. We'll build that here. And then we can also use the move tool, the reposition tool, which is M, which I think is down here. Yeah, tools, and then move tool, if you wanted to move a building that you've already placed. If you misplace it or whatever, then we'll cancel that. But we can just press M, and that gives us that move tool as well. So if we place it in a bad spot, we can move it around and make it a little bit better. Delivering an item to the market will automatically sell it to connected houses. Bring some grain, fruit, vegetables, grain, fruit, or vegetables to the food market. So now we're going to take this to there instead of directly to the houses. And maybe we'll still have both workers doing it? Did that work? No, it didn't work. Go to there instead. Now it'll have both workers going to it, but they only have to go this far, and then the market auto delivers to the houses in its range. And the other cool thing here too that I didn't show up earlier is you can see the workers have this white arc connecting them to both. The small goes to where they're getting the resource from, and the large end of the arc goes to where they're delivering the resource to. So you can see they're kind of in the middle of that arc at all times, and they have a small end and a big end. It tells you what they're doing and which direction they're going. And then obviously if you click on the worker, you can see when they have an item, what that item is and how much of it they're carrying. And the reason there's an, oops, dang it, I did the wrong click. The reason there's a number here as far as inventory is, some of the other worker things can carry, later on in the game, can carry more than one item. So note, you can also use footpaths and roads to connect markets to houses that are further away. So the house and the market need to be connected via roads. Or footpaths at least. So that's a key thing here. And I'm actually going to upgrade a little bit more of the, oops, right-clicking also deletes a road, or footpath, in order so they can have space to walk on the footpaths and make their travel times faster. Grain mills turn grain into flour, which can be sold for higher price and is an ingredient in other goods. So we'll go to the buildings menu, and I just did B and then D real quick on my keyboard, and we want the grain mill, and maybe I'll put that down. I don't know that I want to put it down next to the market, but maybe I'll put it down like right here. Let me rotate the camera. Turn it around this way, so just like you can see what I'm doing. Building, grain mill. I'm going to put it here, and then I obviously need to have some footpaths here. And then we'll click on the recipe, and we'll select flour. Now, what we need to do is have these workers deliver the grain into the grain mill. I messed up. Doggone it. There we go. Let's go into the grain mill, and into the grain mill. And then I want to build another worker. And that worker can carry the... I'm probably not going to have us do it yet. Now you can produce flour and sell it at the market for lots of coins. So here we're processing 3 grain every 4 seconds, minimum, into 1 flour. So we might need another person. But now we can sell that flour, carry that flour to the food market. And it sells for more coins here in the houses than the grain did. So we get a little bit better value out of the grain. Yeah, it sells for 4, whereas this only sells for 1 coin. You can see that here in the tooltip. And then like berries, if we had them, apples here sell for 2. So that would have been potentially a good thing to harvest, and we still could, as a matter of fact. You can allocate spare workers to existing buildings. This will make them produce their output faster. You can increase or decrease at any time. Select a production building and click the plus sign to allocate an additional worker. And then set the current worker count to 0 to stop the building production entirely. Well, we're currently not providing enough flour here to support 2 workers, so I don't want to have an extra worker in here. Or enough grain, sorry. If I wanted that, I would need to add another worker out here hauling grain in to the mill before I added more workers processing the grain into flour. And then we need to build a school. A school will let us research many new buildings and useful technologies. So we'll go again to the buildings menu and select a school. And I think I'll put the school up here by the base. I think I'm going to put it on this side for reasons that will become explained soon. Click that. The lumber mill produces paper. This recipe requires water. You can tell a worker to bring water from a well or place a new lumber mill next to water to automatically supply it. Actually, so I should have put this down here, which I will actually in a moment, I think. Select the lumber mill, and actually I'm going to build a different lumber mill. So I'm going to pick the lumber mill here, and I'm going to build this lumber mill... I think next to the water. I think that's the way you do this. I think that's the way you do this. It says linked to, but I can't tell what it's linked to. Connected water tiles. Yes, so it's linked to the water. So this will automatically take in water, so we don't have to build a well. Because if you build a well, then you have to have a worker hauling the water buckets, basically, into the whatever this thing is called, the lumber mill. So we want to make paper. We already have water, because water is being supplied automatically due to the adjacent nature here. But before we do that, I want to also put in a road here, and I want to move this. We'll use the M and then rotate, and I'm going to put it here instead. So we need some workers, and we have 2 available. Did I already assign one here? Yes, and there's one there. Let's build another house first. And did that automatically? Yes, now there's 5 houses connected to this food market automatically. And you can see the amount of roads that are connected to the food market are highlighted here. And also anything within, I think maybe that's the square, anything within this square is automatically connected as well. And the roads end, the road connection ability ends where that circle is, basically. Okay, so now we have an extra house. And in fact, I might want to upgrade one or more of these houses. I think that gives us more pop as well. It does. Okay, so let's add, let's see, 2 workers out here picking up trees. 1 worker here hauling paper. And, oh, maybe I only need 1 because 1 log becomes 1 paper. That might be enough. Or one log becomes 2 paper. So actually we need the workers over here hauling, yeah. I think so. So now we have paper. The school will need lots of paper and coins to complete the research. Select the school, hit the select recipe button, and choose any research recipe. Bring the paper to the school to complete the research. I think I want to do maybe masonry first. It doesn't really matter. We're going to end up doing both, I'm sure. So select a recipe here. And now the school needs writing supplies, specifically paper, as well as coins provided to it. So we'll do this. And then we'll do that. That way we'll haul 2 paper at a time. And as you can see, this had an output queue of 10, and it keeps filling up because we weren't hauling it fast enough out of there. And it has an input queue of wood, so you can kind of monitor these input and output queues to make sure you have enough workers doing the work you need them to do. And in this case, we have 2 workers bringing in wood, which is kind of maintaining around 6 or 7, but the output queue is full, so we're kind of stable on this one. This one, on the other hand, we might be pretty stable on as well. And that water stays full, 20 out of 20, because we are adjacent to the river. And you can see it highlights, by the way, the river tiles that are adjacent, or that it's collecting from. And that might be what has to do with that square too. I'm not positive on that. All right, so we are researching. Our research is 26% done, 26 out of 100. And we're just going to keep hauling paper in here. We do have a little bit of a stockpile of paper. And notice this is a generic. This is writing supplies. As we progress through the game, I remember this from my previous playthroughs, this number actually, the amount of items here actually is additional to just the paper. And in fact, I think at some point paper becomes not worth it anymore. So writing supplies is a generic, and later I think we get books and things like that we'll produce and use those as our writing supplies instead of paper. But we produce the books out of paper. So we're just kind of waiting now for that masonry to finish. Is there anything else we can look at? I guess we could perhaps add another worker here and pick some apples for the food market, and that'll let them distribute the apples and the grain now to the food market. We may not be producing enough grain. There's some happiness score here, where depending on the houses, they're either happy or their satisfaction with the different supplies is counted here. I think, did we upgrade all the houses? No, this one can be upgraded still. 2, 2, and 2, yeah. And we can't do upgrade 3 yet because we need stone bricks that are produced by the masonry that we're researching yet. So this does not have any supplies. This is staying empty. Oh no, there's another house here I forgot about. 5 houses. There we go. And so you can see kind of the happiness of the house individually here. The house is happy with the amount of flour they have. Actually, they're happy with the flour and the apples, which is good. We have 2 happiness. And I think that also affects something, maybe some sort of productivity, maybe, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a long time, and I think maybe the tutorials will take us through that. But something about productivity. We've completed the masonry research. So we unlocked a new building, the stone mason, and we unlocked stone roads, roads that are made of stone, stone walls, road ramps, stone bridges, and stone arches. And we already had scaffolding bridges, wood bridges, scaffolding blocks, ramps, arches, and pillars. So now we've unlocked a few stone versions of those instead of just the wood versions. So we completed that one now. Each campaign map has specific goals. Completing them will unlock the next map. Follow the prompts to open the victory conditions menu or hit the V key to view the goals for this map. So let's go here. No. There. So we have to get our base up to level 3, and we need to get all of these buildings up placed. At least one building of each of these types placed. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start that next research, because if I don't, then it's going to be sitting around waiting like I kind of did here. And then I want to start doing some... Okay, so the tutorial is done now. We're good to go. I want to start setting up a stonemason. So you have one here in the menu. Let's go this way maybe. And I want them to make stone bricks. That's the only thing we can make here, at least in this tutorial. And then we need some workers. Probably, wait, what's the recipe? 3 stone makes 1 stone brick. Let's do 4 workers then. 2, 3, 4. You can pick up some stone. Stone. Nope, I missed. Where did you go? Nope, nope, nope. Oh, you're standing there. Okay. And then stone. Okay, they're all moving. And then we can take the stone bricks into the base. And we're already producing. We already have some output here. And we'll see if that's a stable input-output ratio or not. Again, like I said, with the workers, it's hard to say. The building's probably not fast enough. Oh, yes, there it is, actually, right here. The speed is 110% due to a happiness boost. I do remember that I remembered seeing that. We're at 130% here at the school due to the happiness boost. 110% at the lumber mills. So having happiness, keeping your housing happy here by selling them sufficient amounts of goods is very worth it as far as productivity around your whole town go. So keep that in mind as you're working on things. Let's hit the V key to go up to the victory conditions again. So the last thing we need is a workshop. And then, of course, the base needs to be upgraded, which we can't do until we have the workshop and we're making wood wheels. So we kind of have to, as I suspected, have to do both of those researches anyway. And then it's a matter of just keeping the processing going here. And I see that we probably could use a new path here. And I could even perhaps take this one out. Oops, not what I wanted. There we go. And let them work on a path here. And actually they're harvesting the same piece of grain here. Does this tell me how much grain is in this clump of grain? Oh yes, here it is, 33. So because we haven't started harvesting that one yet. This one's down to 12 out of 31 because they're harvesting that one. But these ones here, and they have different amounts depending on reasons. Reasons that I'm not entirely sure of. But reasons nevertheless. And we have potatoes growing over here too. Fancy. So we could also harvest potatoes. I'm not sure if... Actually, we can find out. Yeah, we'll take potatoes. And they're only worth 1 coin. So it's at this point, you're better off with the apples and the grain coming in as flour than you are with the potatoes. But there's probably something to do with the potatoes later on that we could use. So we finished woodworking. So we get a new building the barn and a crate. I'm not sure what the crate is. Might be a storage as well. The barn is definitely storage. Oh, I guess we can mouse over. The barn provides shared storage that players can use when placing buildings and workers. So, as you saw, the base can only handle a few items. And I'll point that out again when we get back over here. But the barn is kind of an expansion to that. It's kind of like your stockpile or your storage chest or whatever you want to consider it. This is where you can store items instead of sending them all the way back to the base. And then the crate is a small storage space. So the barn can have automation, the crate cannot. And then the workshop is what we need to place. And we also unlocked chutes. And chutes are your first, one of the first 2 levels of automation. Certain items can be rolled down a chute from their harvesting area into their processing area, or possibly via or to a barn as an intermediary. And then you can use wagons to carry items from one building to the next. And I think they can carry 4, which we'll find out eventually. Okay, so let's build a workshop. We have it down here? Yes, we do. Look at that. So workshop is effectively a wood building. I mean, it uses wooden components, but it probably also uses stone components as well. So this might be a good place for it. We need to produce wood wheels, which take planks, and in 5 seconds, 2 planks, 5 seconds, one wooden wheel. What I want to do here is I want to start using some of the automation. And we can't use the chutes here, I don't think, for planks because they don't roll. I'm not exactly sure what the dividing line is between stuff that can be used on a chute and stuff that cannot. But I do know that most of your raw resources, anything that looks like a ball when the worker here is carrying it, let me try and catch that person. See how that's a ball shape? And but also things that are perfectly cylindrical, like wood. That's perfectly cylindrical. That can roll down a chute. The grain is a ball, so it can roll down a chute. I'm not sure about the fruit. But things like sheets of paper or sacks of grain, those I don't believe can be put down a chute. I think it has to be kind of the roundish stuff. And even the cut stone here too, whatever it's called, stone bricks. Those, I don't think those can be put down a chute either. So what I'm going to do is go into the build menu again and the workers menu. Oh, we can't make wagons. We need wood wheels. Okay, never mind, Wally. Let's build some more workers then. Unpause. And we'll use our menu here. I can only build 2. Let's build another house. And I need to, I think, put in a path here. And is that one now connected? Yes, there are 6 connected. We're going to go and upgrade that house too. And then I want to take the planks from the base and deliver them to the workshop. And I want to have 2 people doing this, I think. Because it's... maybe not. It's only 2 planks per wheel. Maybe not. I'll add another worker, though. Either way, we need to probably carry these wheels out to the base. And you can already see these workers are kind of congested here. So we might be able to improve this by adding additional pathing. But it may also not be good enough for them. Maybe even a path here would be good. So they can kind of go up to the side of the building. Because they can deliver resources to any side. But I think the person collecting... No, I guess not. Let's see. So right now the building is too slow. One of these workers is not needed. And the building is too slow. You? Over here. You can camp out and be idle for a moment. Because, yeah, the building takes 5 seconds to make wheels. So that's going to take a bit. But now we can upgrade the base. And let's look at our victory conditions again. By the way, we're good here. Before we declare victory, though, I want to go into the build menu and the wagon. And I just want to show you what the wagon does. I don't know if the next tutorial will get into it or not. But I want to also interrupt this guy who can actually deliver his stuff back to the base here. Drop off everything at the base. And then I want to just park him out of the way. And now I want to haul planks using the wagon, which counts as population. I think they have a population of 2? No, 1. Still 1. You can see the wagon can haul 4 items instead of just 1, which is really nice because that's much more capacity that you can move. But right now, what might be a better spend of our workers could be right here by adding another worker and increasing the productivity of this building, or the speed of this building, to accommodate more the amount of logs that we can input and the amount of wheels that we can haul out. So that's kind of a good spend for your initial wheel production, and we've already produced a ton of wheels, is making some wagons that are carrying sort of the processed goods, the intermediary goods here. Oops, I messed that up. Doggone it. I want you to take planks to there. Instead of having all these workers hopping around. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade this and celebrate our victory. And then we'll take the next campaign, but in the next episode. So this is, I hope, a good overview initially there of the game and the plan for this series. And then I hope this first tutorial served as an introduction to the way the game works and sort of hints at what the game is going to bring as far as, complexity and the production lines and whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.